Nobody goes on strike for a laugh. I'm sorry. I know there's this idea popularised that striking is this thing done on a whim. You lose a day's pay. It's extremely, therefore, inconvenient for the worker. And the fact is, if we don't want them to go on strike, then we should deal with the fact that there is a management operating who has driven people to such desperation that they're willing to lose a day's pay in order to do something about it. And more broadly, you just made the point about how well tube drivers are paid. Absolutely right. They are well paid. That's not an advert for not striking. That's an advert for striking. The reason they have good pay and good conditions is because they fought for them. Now, the argument that people like Christo often make is it's a race to the bottom, that you should be angry, not at the fact that you're not paid properly, but that other workers are paid more than you. When the actual argument should be that because we have a low strike society, we have a low pay economy. The fact that we have record numbers of people at the moment in work poverty, most people in poverty in Britain are in working households, they earn their poverty day after day, is because the unions were smashed in this country. And because the unions were smashed, we don't have trade unions strong enough in much of the economy to be able to get a fair slice of the pie, because the wealth's created by the workers, to the workers themselves. If other people went on strike, like the tube drivers, and fought, they'd get good terms and conditions and wages as well.
I think we have to say, though, people always bring out the tube drivers' salary, don't we? We're not just talking about tube strikers here, tube drivers. Presumably, we're talking about
cleaners,
the people at the ticket office, the cleaners, everyone who works within those stations.
On low pay. We live in a free market dystopia where all of society is rigged in favour of bosses who make huge amounts of money. The point about inflation is a really important point. What you're talking about inflation is prices rising more, much more, than people's wages. So in real terms, people's wages are falling. That means people lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, panicking because they can't even bring themselves to open their unopened energy bill. It means skipping hot meals to feed their kids. Those people often are in work. Now, if more people went on strike, which is a basic thing in a democratic society, by the way. You talk about a communist dystopia, and in those Stalinist economies you're talking about, they banned the right to strike. You're talking actually far more closely to what happened in the Soviet Union than I am. They banned independent trade unions. They banned the right to strike. What we have in this country, even though the right to strike has been massively infringed upon by the government, in a democracy, workers have the right to withdraw their labour to get better terms and conditions and better wages. That is the difference between this country and what you're talking about, which is the former Soviet Union, a practice you actually want to introduce.
Maybe I'm closer to this than I think then.